Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing gallery walls. I think we all have known that gallery walls have become popular over the last few years, and I think that there can kind of be a struggle when putting together gallery walls. So today I'm going to give you my designer tips on how to figure out what to put in a gallery wall and how to arrange it, and kind of take you through the process that I would do to make a beautiful gallery wall. Before we get into the tips, I just wanted to say that I kind of did a preview of this topic over on my Instagram at Habitat Interiors Co. So if you're not following me there already, I usually post things, or my plan is to post things first to Instagram and then kind of go more in depth on the subject here on YouTube. So go ahead and follow me over on Instagram. I will leave the handle down below and you can follow along to get more tips or design inspiration. Now jumping into gallery walls. The very first thing that I think needs to happen is to determine a theme. So this can be super simple. You can either pick a color theme, an accent color to go along with your gallery wall, or you can do something a little bit more advanced, like maybe you're super into music, so you want stuff that is musically inspired. Maybe you love to travel and you want to put together your travel photography. Whatever that might be, go ahead and determine your theme. After you have determined your theme, then it's time to gather images and objects. Before you shop for your artwork and different pieces, I highly suggest measuring out the area that you're going to be designing. Once you have measured out your area, maybe you're working, let's say, with like a 5 by 3 foot area. So you're gonna need to figure out how many pieces and what size of pieces are gonna fit there. It doesn't really do you a lot of good to go shopping for things that aren't going to fit. Measure your area and determine, are you wanting it to be like a bit more of like a bold and cohesive look? Maybe you want to do 1, 2, 3 pictures. You may want to go for that cohesive look and do like a grid type of system. You may want to do a Mod Podge type of gallery wall where it's just a lot of different stuff just kind of splattered onto the wall, which is a really cool look. But definitely determine how much area you have and what the scale of the art that you're wanting to put on. So if you have a 5 by 3 area, you might want 3 pieces that are a foot and a half to fill that up. So once you kind of have a good idea of the size and the scale, then that's when you're gonna wanna go and make your purchases. You can go on to different places like Etsy or Amazon if you're looking for something budget friendly. You can go in store to a Homegoods. There's lots of different resources. If you're wanting to just like print out different artwork, whatever is the best way financially for you to gather the resources that you need for your art, go ahead and do that. I'll leave a few different recommendations for different websites that you can check out to get art if you want to do it online. If you're purchasing something that's already framed, that's great. If you're purchasing something that you need to get framed, that's also great. You might be purchasing something with a frame that you want to get reframed because you don't like the frame, or maybe you want to paint the frame yourself. I think the next step is definitely determining if you want frames and what kind of frames that you're wanting. So again, if you're going for that cohesive look, then you might want just a really simple, modern, thin black frame, and you want the same size of frame throughout the whole project. Eclectic feel, then you might want one gold frame that's very like antique styled and has a lot of character to it and aged. And you might want another that doesn't have a frame at all, and a third that's more modern in different shapes and sizes. This is really all up to you. If you want to make restrictions, then that's great. I think the more restrictions you have, the more of a cohesive look you're gonna have, and the less restrictions you have, the more character it's going to add to the space. So it kind of depends. Do you like clean and simplistic design, or if you like something that's more character, more eclectic, more personality, then you kind of have like a range of different options on how you can customize your gallery wall. Okay, so once you have your artwork, whether it's framed or not framed, you might want to decide to add an object into the mix. If you're going to do something musically inspired for your theme, maybe you want to put a record, maybe you want to add a hat, Maybe there's just some flowers that are dried that you really like, or a specific plant that can like hang from the wall to add interest. I think if you're going for a really cohesive look, then maybe this isn't the best way to do it, is add an object, because you want to keep your lines very clean and straight. Whereas if you're doing something a little bit more loose, a little bit more free, then I think adding an object just really bumps up the character and gives it more personality. So once you've gathered your objects that you're going to put onto your wall and they're ready to be hung onto the wall, I believe the next step is to kind of plan out how you're placing it on the wall. You have your what, now you have to figure out how. If you're going for a cohesive look, this is probably gonna be really simple. Like you might want an inch, 2 inch, 3 inches in between all your frames to make sure that it has very minimalistic look. Now, if you're kind of going for a little bit more of a scattered look, this is where you're gonna have fun and play with it. My suggestion to you is to get some paper and cut it out the same size as your frame or whatever object you're putting onto the wall. I would also suggest for you to label the different items if they're not all the same size. On your piece of paper, write down like frame A, frame 1, object 2, or whatever that looks like. Cut it out and then use tape to place it onto your wall, and just completely use trial and error. You might want a really big picture on this side or a small one on this side, or you like how these three stack together. Kind of just play around and see what you like. If you're having a hard time figuring out whether something is looking good, one thing that I would suggest is if you have larger items, usually those are gonna go on the side or on the bottom. It's gonna feel really unbalanced if you have smaller frames or smaller objects on the bottom and something that's visually heavier on top. So visual weight is something that we designers talk a lot about. And what visual weight means is even if something isn't necessarily super heavy, it looks like it's really heavy because of its size or how much room it takes up. To help kind of put the mind at ease, things that are going to have a larger visual weight, something that looks bigger, a bigger frame, is going to look better kind of like grounded down. Things that are smaller in visual weight are going to be more towards the top. Kind of think of like a kitchen, how a lot of kitchens nowadays have base cabinets, and instead of having upper cabinets, there's a lot of open shelving. That is showing that the bottom has that dark, heavy visual weight, and the top is a little bit freer and lighter in weight. So that's a good guide to help you kind of adjust. Another thing is having pairs of 3. So I believe that pairing things in 3 kind of gives it that unevenness, but there is a sense of balance. It's not symmetrical. I mean, you can make it symmetrical, but it doesn't have to be. And it kind of leads your eye to different places. It's a little less stagnant. And my third tip for arranging things, I love things in odd numbers. This is completely personal preference, especially if you're doing kind of more of a scattered look. I think that doing an odd amount of pictures or objects is kind of just going to give it that extra interest. Once you've figured out on your wall how you want your arrangement to be, go ahead and mark off the different placements. Go ahead and make a little mark with a pencil, and you can put A or 1 or whatever label that you had decided previously. And then from there you can go ahead and make all the holes in the wall and place your items. Okay guys, those are my tips for gallery walls. If you have anything that you would like to add, please let me know down below. Let me know if you have a gallery wall in your home currently. Let me know if you've been wanting to do a gallery wall. And if you do have a gallery wall, please let me know if you like have a theme to it, or maybe you don't, I don't know. I personally love having a theme. If you guys are interested at all, I will leave a bunch of links down below for different resources you can use, whether that's you trying to find some art, or if that's you trying to find some frames for your art. I will leave a bunch of links down below to hopefully help you get your gallery wall started. Of course, if you have any questions at all or need clarification, I would love to help you out. Go ahead and drop that question and I will try to best answer it for you. I would love to chat with you to help you make your gallery wall. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's Tuesday tip. If you want to see more Tuesday tips or more design guidance in the future, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, where I'm going to be posting a lot more interior design and designer content. Okay, have a good day guys. See you later.